Good morning, Mike and Arlen, our Philippine journey. Thanks so much for joining. Hey, look, how much does it cost for you to go bar hopping on Walking Street for a night? And how much are you going to spend? But there's a reason why we did this. There really and truly is. So let's talk about it. All right. We're not promoting going bar hopping. We're not promoting drinking. In fact, drinking is a problem for expats here. We see it. We see expats that are totally obliterated at 8 o'clock in the morning. I've seen them passed out at different restaurants at 9 o'clock in the morning. But we do know it happens. The other day, I started working on the latest tourism numbers. The Philippines has finally put them out, and we'll be doing a video about that. As I started doing it, I started thinking, man, something? Maybe we should take a look at a couple of different things. Now, number one, the vast majority of tourism, the vast majority of people that come to the Philippines are not bar hopping on Walking Street. That is not what they're doing, but it happens. The vast majority of them are not going to spend their time on Walking Street the whole time of their visit, though it does happen, that's for sure. The vast majority of expats in the Philippines do not live on Walking Street, although it does happen. That being said, what we thought was, hey, look, maybe you should know what is it going to cost you, or get an idea as to how you budget what it's going to cost you for your visit. You can be an expat here in the Philippines, but not in Angeles, but you're coming to visit. You could be a expat that comes to Angeles. You could be one of many different things, but how do you budget that? And then sometimes we need to look at how other options apply. And you'll understand what I mean once you see this. So again, we don't promote it. We are not big bar hoppers. When we bar hop, I think there are some things that you should understand here. Let me put it to you like this. When we bar hop, it's always almost always on the same specific night of the week. We bar hop generally, almost always, as a group of friends. All right? And quite frankly, we're back home and in bed. I mean, generally our bar hop starts at like dinner, 5:30 in the afternoon. We meet, dinner, then we hit the first bar after dinner, and we're back home and in bed by 10 o'clock at night, sometimes by 9. So, I mean, it's not like we have, had to fix it, that big a deal. So anyways, so what's it going to cost? Well, all right. So we went to such a sacrifice. I mean, really, what I sacrificed for you guys. We went the other night to 3 bars. So I looked at what we were buying. I looked at what our friends were buying. I looked at actually what a couple of customers were buying so that I could get a decent list of what to do. So here we go. Keep in mind something you need to remember here. The first 4 items on this list are your drinks, okay? Not the drinks that you would buy for an entertainer. So there are 2 prices. There's standard pricing, and then there's happy hour pricing at this one particular bar, an American bar. All right, and we are going to go through some others. 150 pesos or $2.62 for a well drink. And for those of you that, like, if you go in and you order gin and tonic, or you order rum and coke, or you order whatever, but without having to call the brand, All right, it's going to be 150 pesos. It's the cheapest form of rum they can buy. It's the cheapest form of gin they can buy. So $2.62 for normal time, $2.31 for happy hour. Call drink, that's going to be like, Bombay and tonic. That's going to be like Jack Daniels and Coke. These are You're calling an upper level, a little bit more expensive brand. 195 pesos or $3.41. Non-happy hour, 175 pesos or $3.06. Happy hour. Now, this is based on a 56-to-1 ratio, pesos to the dollar. Okay. Standard beer. So your standard beers are going to be stuff like San Miguel Light, San Miguel Apple, couple of other brands. This is not going to include Corona if they carry it. This is not going to include Heineken if they carry it. All right, it's going to be more expensive. So happy hour, 95 pesos, $1.62. Non-happy hour, 150 pesos, $2.62. And happy hour varies at different places. Happy hour at this particular bar was, I think, from 6 to 9 or 6 to 8, I think is what it was. Okay? Red Horse. Red Horse, these are your Red Horse, not for the girls. 150 pesos, $2.62. Non-happy hour, 95 pesos, happy hour. All right, so it goes down. All right, lady drinks. Now, lady drinks are drinks that you buy for the entertainers. They're going to get a commission on these drinks. So, happy hour at this particular bar, 300 pesos or $5.28. Non-happy hour, $3.50, $6.12. We have seen lady drinks, they vary. Okay. They'll go from $3.50 to $4.50 depending on the bar. Lady beers, $300, $3.50, same price. Okay. Now I don't know how come I computed that at $5.28 plus $5.24, but it is. Bar hop, that is the same as a early release. Okay. And I want you to understand what an early release is. An early release is what you pay the bar, and it's been called many other names, but we're not going to call it what everybody generally terms. Its legal name, its actual name as defined, all right? It is actually defined in the Philippine regulations, I guess is the best, not regulations, but the licensing for these establishments. It's called an early release, and it is what you pay the bar for an employee to leave with you to go spend some time, dinner, whatever, okay? To go spend some time before the end of their shift. And we're going to leave it at that. So an early release. Now, it used to be, years ago, they had what they called bar hops and then the others, early release. The bar hops are really now pretty much non-existent. It's the same thing. They don't, if I used to could get an entertainer and say, hey, you know what? Gonna take her to dinner, spend some time, bring her back. Okay, that'll be XYZ. That's less and less common now than it was before. In most places, early release is the same. So if you want to early release a waitress at this particular bar, 4,000 pesos, $69.96. A standard entertainer can at this bar ranged from 4,000 pesos to 5,000 pesos. All right, $69.96 to $87.45. And then the spotlight, model girls, whatever, 6,000 pesos at this particular bar, 105 US dollars. Okay? So we looked at what our friends are buying. We looked at what we're buying. We looked at what other people were buying. And pretty much this is a generalization. All right? It's just a generalization. We're assuming that you're having a drink. We're assuming that they're having drinks. We're assuming that you're going to talk to two entertainers. Okay? So bar one, 2 drinks for you, $5.24. 2 for the entertainer, $12.24. Okay? And how did we come up with that number? Well, based on that times 2. Bar number 2, 2 for you, 2 for an entertainer. And then bar number 3, which I labeled bar number 1 again. Don't ask me why. All right. So without any tips or anything else, we're talking about $52.44. So then we turned around and we looked at what's more likely. Okay. Well, more likely it was bar number 1 is 2 drinks for you, and you entertained a couple of different girls. You bought 3 drinks, and you tipped them a couple of bucks, $1 to the $100, $100 to the girl, $1 to the waitress, $27. So if you add this up at 3 bars, what you end up with is $81.24. Okay, that's typical. So, of course, you can do it cheaper. Yes, of course, not everyone's going to get an early release. And keep in mind, not all these employees are available for early release. And keep in mind, even those that are available for early release, if you show up and you are off-putting, you are an asshole, you don't dress decent, your clothes stink, you stink, you've got 3 weeks worth of grime underneath your fingernails, all right, you're wearing sandals and your toenails haven't been cut in 5 years, they may tell you, no, They have the right to turn you down, all right? But we know, while it's not uncommon, all right, the fact is, this is about a minimum amount, $171.97. Now, you know what? That's a bare minimum for 3 bars. That's a bare minimum for decent things. But yeah, it can be done cheaper. I mean, you can drink bottled water. You could drink soda. You don't have to drink alcohol. That's going to cut the cost down. All right. We have friends that are real simple. All right. Because keep in mind, the drinks that you order for your entertainers, those are half shots, if they're even that much. Okay. And they can hammer those things down. And then all of a sudden, the waitress is like, well, her glass is empty. Do you want to buy her another drink? So my point is $171.97. Yeah, it can be done cheaper, okay? And we're not going to argue that. But that is an average. That really and truly, in our opinion, from what we see, is an average. So I sat there and I looked at it, all right? So not including your dinner that night, you could drink water or juice or even simply beer instead of mixed drinks. You could simply do 2 bars or even 1 bar. But if, that's not uncommon to do this. You can slice and dice this in any way you want. All right. In the comments, don't say, well, blah, blah, blah. I went and I did. You know something? Yeah, sure, whatever. But if indeed you do that once a week, and if indeed that's an average bar hop, and if indeed you're on a $2,500 a month budget, all right, you do that 4 times a month, that's 687 bucks. That's 27% of your budget. 27% of your entire monthly budget is spent on entertainment 1 night a week alone. That is not a small number in certain instances, is it? In the comments below, you can certainly tell us what you think. We're going to let it stand. We know we're going to get a lot of people that says, "Oh, it's cheaper. I do this. I don't. I go out for $25 a night." That's fine. There are different ways to do it. There are guys here that go out and drop triple that amount easily every night. There are expats. It's funny. We almost always go on the same night of the week, once a week, once every other week, something like that. Yet there's a dozen guys that we see every time. And I find it inconceivable that those guys chose that they only go out once a week at the same specific times that we go out. They're out several times for us to run into them time and time and time again. All right. Then you've got your weekend millionaires, your flybys and stuff like that. There are all kinds of ways to economize that expense. But I thought, if you're going to be running into this, then the least we can do is give you an idea of how much money maybe you should set aside so that you don't run out. And I don't mean run out so that you can continue to do it, but so you don't find yourself strapped for cash. All right, that you have a realistic look at it. So in the comments, let us know what you think. Otherwise, we're going to be doing another, we did a live stream yesterday from Tequila Reef, which was an absolute disaster. I'm trying out some new software, new hardware, new everything. I thought I had everything done, and obviously not even close. We're going to do it again Thursday, tomorrow. So drop into the live stream tomorrow. Let's see if it works or not. Otherwise, we hope you're doing well. We hope you have a great day. We hope you're safe. Take care. Be good.